Alex, you guys start off the second half, 4 straight 3-and-outs, and then it goes touchdown, touchdown. What do you take out of this game today? What do you take out of your defense? It seems like you're closer than you've been all season, yet you still, 4.5 minutes to go or whatever, it still just kind of falls apart on you.
Well, I think, number one, the fact that these guys found a way to win in that environment, I got to start there, and to win against a quality football team, obviously our rival, and to find a way through thick and a lot of thin there late, but to find a way, I got to give them just a lot of credit, because there's a lot of teams that in those moments would have packed it up, right? And so that's one. What do you take from it? You take from it that close isn't going to be good enough. You use that word, and I kind of would echo that. Close to being a quality defense, close to being, I would say, a good defense. But what you need to do is you need to be able to do it consistently over the course of 4 quarters. There's no alternative. There is not a middle ground there, is one of those things we talked to the guys about. No, proud of their effort, and so proud that they can enjoy a win based on that effort. But we got to do a better job executing for 4 quarters, and there's no scenario that's not the case moving forward.
And how much did just your young guys, provide a boost for you guys today?
Well, they did, and one of the things in all these moments, and I don't care if it's the first quarter, but certainly in the fourth quarter when you're trying to win a football game, is you have to make plays, and once again there's no alternative. To go out there against a quality team and obviously a quarterback that's been doing it a long time at a high level, you have to match his ability to make some plays late in games. And so to see some young guys make it, obviously is a critical element from a depth standpoint. It's a critical element from a competition standpoint. Very, very proud of those guys' efforts and their ability to show up on a big stage and in big moments.
Yeah, can you talk about the overall effect on all these overtimes, and even before the overtime, it looked like the defense, you guys were just getting a little bit more worn down each and every time. And Lincoln talked about how players were still, begging to come in. Can you talk about the overall attitude, even when things were down? You guys were getting tired, and they just kept fighting over and over and over. And then can you also talk about the play of Woody Washington?
Yeah. Well, and I'll start with Woody, and then he's one of those young guys that I think we were referencing, and we switched him out there to corner, and we did it to get him on the field and take some quality reps for us. And the guy that we thought had the skill set certainly could help it at a number of different positions, but been very pleased with him. Coach Manny's done a great job with him to get him up to speed. And so that's a guy as a young guy in this program that has shown well here early on, and so been pleased with Woody, and to make a play there in the end zone the fourth quarter is big time. But the first question, the thing there again at the end is it was fatigue set in. There's no doubt about it. And hot day. Obviously, you're chasing around a quarterback that's extending plays, in order to give ourselves a chance to have extra on him. It forces you to kind of limit yourself in coverage. You can't have extra. Once again, we talked about it, you can't have extras everywhere. And so, in any event, that's a tall order. Guys chasing after a quarterback, and then guys chasing after routes. And so, there's no doubt fatigue set in. But again, I got to give credit to the players. When things don't go exactly the way you want them to, and life has a way of doing that to you. You got a couple different options, and there was one team probably more excited to be in overtime than the other. But in those moments, I use the term, or the phrase, find a way. You have to. That's what's required of you, and the guys did, and so I want to give them credit for that.
Alex, you mentioned the win just a little bit ago, and I wanted to ask you specifically about the result. Just how I know you're proud of, I guess, coming out of here, win or lose, you would have been proud of the effort, but to win and to pull through, given what you guys have been through the last 2 weeks, just how big a deal is that in terms of keeping everything in one piece moving forward for you guys?
Well, it's huge, and you know, you change a few things, and you know, you can play the game of saying, well, if this happened, then maybe we'd be, you know, 3-0 at this point, or you know, this, you know, and you but that's not you know, reality is what you are, and so this football team, this defense in particular, specifically, has not found a way to finish football games yet, you know, and so, you know, why did it have to go that way again today? I can't tell you. You know, what's it going to take? Believe me, I hope it's this, for our guys to realize that at no moment in that game is it over. You're never winning. You're never losing. It's you win or lose when ultimately the scoreboard goes to zeros. But believe me now, to win a game, that's what you're in it for. And so it's a whole lot different in terms of our conversations this week moving forward after a win than after a loss. But no, I'm not sure I could you know, give you a completely accurate description of what this one means, other than obviously it's huge.
Okay, we'll go to John.
Hey, Alex. I wanted to ask you, did this game, I went back and looked at the statistics, the one-sided nature of the statistics in the third quarter, and this one just felt different. I mean, you're not doing it against Kansas State, you're not doing it against Iowa State, you're doing it against the team that was averaging 51 points a game and leading the nation in scoring. Did it feel different to be up and to be dominating like you were, and then when it slipped away, I guess it felt probably a little bit of the same?
Yeah, I think you know, and I know we had conversations this week, and you pause the video at the end of the third quarter, and you see numbers on the scoreboard that you like as a defense, and then the fourth quarter you know, comes to a close, and you say, again, how do we let that happen? And obviously there's a number of factors how that happens, you know, and you know, the chief one is you got to say I didn't do a good enough job. Coach Grinch didn't do a good enough job in the fourth quarter. That's one. But you know, I think you know, the one thing that we're learning, and we obviously aren't learning as fast as we need to, is, you know, there's nothing more irrelevant than the score at halftime, you know, and even less relevant is the score at the end of the third quarter. And I need to stop talking to these guys maybe a little bit, because a lot of the things that we talk about end up coming to pass. But that's, you emphasize it, and you got to be in it. And sometimes you can learn quickly, and we're not learning quickly enough, obviously. But it just felt like we were you know, swinging the bat, you know, every time we took the field, and knew at any moment that you know, we may not hit on everyone, and give credit again to a tremendous quarterback who's had a tremendous career, obviously at Texas, and you just knew plays were going to continue. At some point, a play was going to be made, and we had to match it. And it happened a little bit later in the game. But you know, when we got that takeaway with 5 minutes to go in the game, I think, you know, the great lesson there is, again, the game's not over, and you can't assume that it is. It's inappropriate to do so. And I thought our focus up until that point was really, really good. And I think it broke there a little bit, which, again, as coaches, we got to make sure we maintain that regardless of what takes place. Now, fortunate, I thought that focus in terms of our effort and want to kind of came back there in the overtimes. And, again, credit to them, they made plays then. But, again, found a way in the end.
Time for a couple more, James Hales, and then Barry Trammell.
You know, Alex, playing defense, calling defense in overtime, I'm curious if you can give us a little insight. You just try to keep it the same? You try to come up with a big play on defense? What are you looking for in overtime?
Well, a lot of it obviously is you know, if you got to take stock in what took place in the fourth quarter. And you're saying, now wait a second, you know, if you play zone coverage, you're buying scramble. If you play man coverage, then you're putting these guys in one-on-one situations. And so you analyze it from that standpoint, is, you know, somehow, some way we got to do a little bit of both. And so that's one. And then the other thing is, you know, there's a stretch of time there where, you know, their number 11's making a lot of plays, and we're not making any. And so then and there's a little bit of a trap there, I'll be honest with you, is, what call ensures that your guys are going to make a play? And obviously there's not an answer to it. We pressured, we played zone, we spied, we did a little bit of everything, and obviously there was a stretch there that I couldn't come up with a good call. But no, what you do is you try to dumb it down to it's first and 10 at the 25-yard line. Regardless of what took place, prior to that, and like you tell the kids, try to focus on, getting three good plays in a row, and obviously at the end you're talking about 4 good plays in a row, or get a takeaway, and win the football game. So no, you try to keep it as simple as you possibly can, but it's hard to ignore, those previous series when you're watching a guy make a play, and we're dying to get one and unable to.
Thanks, Alex.
Sure.
Let's close with Gary Trent.
Alex, regarding Ellinger, particularly in overtime, to me, like yardage type stuff, if he just carries the ball 4 times in a row, chances are he's going to make 10 yards. How tough was it to you just Ellinger, particularly in overtime? Best play, maybe just snapping the ball and letting pick up.
Yeah, and part of our thought process was just that is they're going to put the ball in his hands one way or another, his ability to, he's a difficult guy to tackle, with size. I mean, he has a unique ability to make guys miss. I think part of that is the willingness to take the hit, which makes him a little bit different than a lot of quarterbacks. And his ability to run through contact. But no, very conscious of him in overtime. I thought there was one particular call that, may or may not have been a hold when he got loose for the one. But minus that, no, we were well aware of the fact that there was a good chance the ball was going to be in his hands one way or another, which again goes back to that's a great thought process, but you also got to look at it from the element of he also has the ability to beat you with his arm, So a little bit easier said than done in terms of just taking an approach saying that all we got to do is tackle the quarterback. But certainly that was a major piece of it, and try to beat us with the arm at the end, and then Trey Brown made a play.